up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back again, my friends. And we got today a how to play. That's right, we're going to sit down and we're going to learn how to play one of these games off my shelf. Which game is it? Samurai Gardener, published by Osprey Games. All right, so let's get this to the table and see how it plays. All right, now let's talk about the setup of the game. This is the score pad right here, and it's the tracker. It's going to be tracking your points, keeping track. Everyone's going to pick their own colored cube here, and there's a couple of extras. There we go, because it is up to a 5-player game. All right, so let's say it was a 3-player game. So the players would set up on 0 to begin with. Each player is going to be given one of each of these 4 cards: the garden, the path, the pond, and the tatami? Tatami, I believe it's pronounced. We call it the walkway or the path. There is a path, but... So they're going to lay them out in front of their little play areas, like so. And this is important to keep track of what you've already scored for the round, but we'll be getting to that. We'll be getting to that soon enough. So the deck, this is what the cards look like in the deck, right? So the deck is going to be shuffled. It already has been, but just to show a quick little fast shuffle. All right. So then for each player, this being a 3-player game, 3 are put out like so. And the rest of these will become the draw deck for the later turns. So you can put them off to the side, like so. All right, so that's all you have to do for setup. Everybody picks a color, and they put it on 0. Everyone is going to be getting one of these as well. And it's front and back. And it'll help show you not only how to score, but if you notice how the points go, then it helps you to work out a strategy of how you want to place cards. All right, let's just leave that there for the moment so you can see that. So that's all it takes for setup. Everyone gets one each of these. Place your colors here on the score track. And one for each player is dealt into the middle of the table. All right, now let's get to the phases of the turns. So at this point, whoever shuffled the deck becomes the first player. Now every round, the first player is going to draw 1 card. This is the seizing phase. This is the first phase of the game. So they're going to draw 1 card for each player. Since we're putting up an imaginary 3-player game, we'll take out 3 cards. Now each player has their own card in their own area to start with. And this is the start of your own garden, because you have to make your garden the best for your shogun. So now when these cards are all put down, the first player will say, now this is where the dexterity part of the game comes in, folks. The first player is going to say, E-E. I imagine that's how it's pronounced. It's simply written E-I exclamation point, E-I exclamation point. So the first player is going to say E-E, at which point all the players are going to say, oh. And when they say, oh, they're going to quickly try to slap their hand on the card that they want. 1 slap, 1 hand, 1 card. That's what's going to happen. So now, if 2 players go for it, whoever's hand lands first gets the card. the other player is then going to quickly have to try to grab one of the remaining cards. If two players have their hands on it, whichever player is determined to have most of their hand covering the card will win that card. And again, the other player is going to have to then quickly try to grab one of the other ones. And then you're going to take that card into your hand, the one that you chose, the one that you took, is going to be taken into your hand. And then you're ready to go to the next phase, which is gardening. So why don't we check that out? All right, so now you have the card that you've able to slap your hand on furiously and grab before the other players do. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to try to figure out how to add this to your garden. Now, when you're adding it to your garden, you have to remember that all the cards have to remain vertical. They have to remain like this. You can't make a placement like that. That is a no-go. Can't do that. And another thing that you're going to have to remember is that you cannot place a card where it's going to block 3 or more. See, because that's what you want to do. Remember, the strategy of the game really comes with the point system. So how many of the same images are you going to be able to get in a row is going to be how many points you're going to score at the end of that round. So you're looking for a minimum of 3. 2 does you no good. You want at least 3, 4, or 5. If you get 6, nope, you went way too far, way overboard with that. 6 is no good. Talk about jumping the shark. All right, Fonzie. So you want to score between 3, 4, and 5 is what you want to do. So keeping that in mind, if this is what I drew, right, I see that I have one pond here, and I got 2 ponds in a row here. So if I put this like this, you can overlay, like I said, as long as you're not covering up 3 or more in a row. So the card is vertical, it's laid, so that's 3 right there that I got. So at the end of this turn, I would score 1 point, as you see, for having 3 in a row. Now, if this was what was already laid down, I wouldn't, oh, that's a good one too, but you can't do it that way, right? I wouldn't be able to overlay, can't even do anything there. Let me try to find one to show off here so I can show you what you can't do. Oh, a lot of ponds in a row. Let me get something 2 in a row here. Okay, so I wouldn't be able to put this here to get the 3 to Tommy. Wouldn't be able to do that. That's an illegal move because that's covering 3 or more in a row already. Now, as soon as I did that, what I'm going to do is I've scored for this round, I've scored 3 of the pond. So I'm going to take this pond card and I'm going to turn it over to that washed out side that doesn't even have a word on it. That's to remind me that until I score the rest of these, I'm not going to be able to score this again. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so why don't we just jump right into the scoring so you can see how that works. All right, so the way scoring works is that you're going to score points whenever you create a new row of the same type of squares I was just showing you previously with the pond. Now I've changed this up a little bit, added a few cards to help explore the whole process of scoring a little bit deeper. So we're going to score for horizontal and vertical, but you're never going to score for diagonal lines. All right, so you have to remember that. Everything is going to be horizontal, diagonal is never, orthogonal. Yep, there we go. So across, up and down, never slant ways, to put it easiest. All right, so if we had played a card, you're going to score points for, let's say this is the card we played for the round, then we have scored right here a row of 3. So as you see right there, a row of 3 is going to score you 1 point. So you're going to move 1 little point there. Now let's say the card that we had played was this one right here. Okay, let me show that off. Ooh. All right, so if we had played this and we put this down right here, all right, we put this card down right here, what you're going to see is we have just created a row of 3 pond, and we have created a row of 4 on the pathway. So both of these are going to flip. Now, when all your cards flip, they all are ready to go once again to score some more points. But since you since you completed, as you see here, whoop, there we go, for the bonus points, 2 scoreable types in a row is an extra 2 points. So that'll be an extra 2 points. So that would take me, I had the 1 from the previous round to 2, and then the other 2 points taking me all the way up to 4 points. So also, you have to remember always to check these cards out, because this, as I've said already, this right here, this is going to determine what your strategy is going to be. It's going to determine based on what you have already laid out and what the 3 cards are that you're going to try to and grab. Because you're going to want to plan out almost like a deep strategy game, chess-like in a sense. You're going to want to plan out what your other moves are here to build everything up. So that's going to be the scoring. Now, when somebody gets up to 25, let's say later in the game, this is what we're looking at over here. As soon as somebody hits 25, that means that is going to be the last round, and everybody is going to do their final scoring at the end of that round and see where everybody lies. The first time we played this, me and Steven tied. I forgot the points. It might have been 27. Me and Steven tied, but I was the first one at 25, so I'm counting that as a win. All right, so winning, like I said, the game ends at that point, and everything is over. So 25 points is going to be the end call for the round, and tally up the points. Whoever has the most is going to be the winner of the game. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. After the setup, you're just going to be going through the seizing round where the cards are going to be put out. You're going to slap your hands down on them, and you're going to try to get the card you want. From there, you're going to go to the gardening phase, where you're going to place the card in a strategic order to your garden piece, so you can start getting connections of similar types, and then you're going to score out, and that's it. So that was your run-through of how to play Samurai Gardener by Osprey Games. It's a good game, a fun game. I definitely think you're going to like it. Easy enough to play. All right, I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, as you know, I am out of here.